Today's your lucky day. All those years shoveling the royal latrines have finally paid off. You've been promoted to head janitor to the palace dungeon. Now it's up to you to fix the mess left behind by the last custodian. So roll up your sleeves, rally the gnomes, and warn the goblins. You've got tunnels to fix and traps to set. But whatever you do, keep the gates shut. If a monster crashes the royal wedding, it's back to the night soil for you. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back. Hope the month is treating you well. It is time for another game entered into the Solitaire print and play contest over on Board Game Geek. Everyone has videos up this week. Veselko, Matt, Dmitry, and Sir Thecos all have new games for you to test and try and see what these designers have given us this week. Now, the game I picked is called Paperbag Dungeon. It is designed by Dustin Porta, and the reason I picked it mostly is because of the cute little hand-drawn illustrations. I think he drew these originally on the back of a paper bag. So there are these cute little double-sided cards, and the entire game is drawing a card, adding it to your dungeon, and it's kind of a reminds me of sort of a tower defense game, right? So the dungeon doors are closed, and you have all these monsters spawning, trying to break open the doors and burst forth into your kingdom, and it is your job as the lowly janitor to make sure that this dungeon is locked up nice and tight so that all the nasty little monsters cannot escape. Now, because they're all hand-drawn illustrations, they are black and white, and I think, like I said, these are all, still works in process. The designer, I think, is going to go back and tidy up some of the illustrations and maybe add a little color. Just for your viewing pleasure and my sanity, I went ahead and colored in some of the sort of active icons. So for example, anytime you see a diamond, you're allowed to flip your card to the back side, which will trigger other abilities as well, which is super cool. Other things that pop up is some cards have these tiny little skeletons on them, and if those flip over, a monster emerges. Oh, my AC just kicked on. Hold on a sec. Let me turn that off. It's a little too loud, sorry about that. Yes, so sometimes you'll find little dead bones. If you flip that card, a monster emerges and it will try to get out of your dungeon. What else have we got? Ooh, these are cool. These are little hatches. A hatch can be opened or closed. If the hatch is open, the monster can drop through it and pop up in any other open hatch. If your hatch is closed, the monster can't get through it. You see what the problem is, though. If I close my hatch, I awaken my monster. If I kill my monster, I open my hatch. So there's lots of little sort of like, ooh, should I or shouldn't I type things. These are fabulous little cards. You have a couple of traps you can set. So if the trap is set and the monster walks over it, sprung, the monster's killed. But now you have to reset your trap somehow because, once it's sprung, you have to get back there to fix it back to its ready to activate side. What other ones? Oh, the other ones I colored, I don't think we're going to play with them, are goblins. Goblins are wonderful, terrible creatures. Every time you play a goblin card, every other goblin causes the card to flip. So you can see how it can become a little bit of a Where's Waldo game. If you don't color in all of the icons, can be a little bit hard to figure out where are my gems, where are my goblins, where are my traps, because things just sort of, disappear. That's kind of fun too. But like I said, I'm trying to film, record, teach, and somehow make this watchable for you guys. So I thought I would go back and just add little pops of color so we can see we have an active monster, we have a sleeping monster, we have a gem, right? Just makes it a little bit easier. We have doors that can open. And what's really fun about this game is that there are different sort of levels that you can throw in. This is a straight win-loss. Either your dungeon holds or it fails. There are no points, there are no second place prizes, you're either in or you're out. And you can increase the difficulty by deciding which icons will activate. So for example, like I said, goblins are one. If you want to play with goblins, you can. If you don't have to play with them. And I'll point out some of the others. I'm playing on sort of normal mode, which is still hard enough. The hard mode is absolute chaos, which can be a lot of fun. So setup's really easy. You shuffle your deck, you start laying cards, you're ready to go. This game is definitely luck dependent. It just kind of depends on, you know, what cards you draw. Either you get the good cards or you don't. But because it is kind of a very simple win-loss game, I really don't mind it. It's more just sort of the fun of seeing how my dungeon appears. So let's go ahead and set up to play Paperbag Dungeon. So to set up, you need to find your dungeon gate. These are 2 double doors. I think there's 2 of them in the deck. Pick either one you want. It's guarded by 2 little people. If it ever gets broken open, it will allow the monsters to escape. So this is your loss condition. So you're gonna set that to start your dungeon. And you'll notice that there are 3 directions that you can build off of, all right? Comes with a whole little stack of cards. The designer recommends you play with as many cards as you have space for. So I find in about half the cards is about all I can get on my tabletop and camera. So we're just gonna split the deck approximately in half. We're gonna take half of the cards and flip them over so that some of them are face up, some of them are face down. Again, it is totally random. And we're gonna set aside 2 cards. These are gonna be called our vault cards. And these are cards that we can play in case of emergency, all right? The most we can ever have is 2, 1, 2, and they're not allowed to have any monsters on them. So every turn we're going to draw a card and play a card. If we draw a card we don't like, we can swap it out for one of our vault cards. If we ever, in case of dire need to flip a card, because our doors break or a monster is coming or we need to set a trap or any of the other reasons, we can discard a vault card to the bottom of our draw deck. And we only have 1 vault card to play with now. So, you know, it's better to have some options. Now I colored in this door because this door can open. What would trigger something like that? Well, the goblins. We're not going to play with goblins, so for now, it'll just be a closed door. This is a 4-way intersection. Anything on the back? Ooh, there's a gem on the back. Gems are what lets us flip cards, so that's good to know. You're allowed to peek at the back whenever you want. So this is a good card to put in our hand and somehow flip it. All right, we have our gate, we have our vault. Now on our turn, we simply draw the top card from the deck and play it. Remember, we have to make sure monsters don't get out. And the second condition, which is really hard to do, is you must complete your dungeon. So every tunnel must attach to another tunnel or, you know, lead into a nice little cul-de-sac dead end type of thing. If you have any tunnels that aren't completed by the time you run out of cards, you lose the game. If you complete your dungeon but a monster escapes, you lose the game. You lose the game a lot in this game, which is what I have found. But that's kind of the fun of it, right? So we're gonna draw our top card. There's nothing on this card. Let's peek on the back. Ooh, so there is a gem on the back if we can ever figure out how to flip it. So tile placement is pretty simple. You have to align it up the best you can. The drawings are not like perfect, so they don't always line up perfectly. That's fine. You are allowed to overlap as long as you don't overlap anything necessary. So like this little hole up here, we can't overlap that, but this little wall space, if we wanted to, we could do, for instance, this, if it was already connected, right? You have to lay on an existing tile. If you do overlap, you could never flip the card behind. So for now, we have 3 ways to go. We know we have a little Humpty Dumpty that we might want to flip. So let's go ahead and put him, just for camera purposes, let's do it like this, okay? Great, and we know that's when we would like to flip. You have 10 turns before a monster will activate. If we pull a monster, he goes straight to the bottom of the deck for 10 turns. So that was turn 1. Turn 2, nothing on the front, nothing on the back, so this is just a nice extender card. When the monsters do come, they're going to end up in one of two places. They'll either attach to your shortest tunnel or your longest tunnel, depending if they're awake or asleep. So you kind of got to pay attention to your tunnel lengths. Right now we have 3 tunnels, none of which are blocked, none of which are trapped, all of which are open, which is terrifying. Our next card is also a blank, so I think I'm going to switch him for a vault card. I would really like to play this door, and let's go ahead and block one of these. So at the level I'm playing, once a door is closed, it can never be broken. And more advanced levels, monsters can open and close doors themselves. So yeah, that, like I said, crazy fast. All right, so that was turn 1, 2, turn 3, nothing on the back. So let's go ahead and try and make this our longest tunnel, because we have a door here that's going to protect. So we'll put this here. Turn 4. Ooh, we have a sleeping giant. Giants are cool. On the back we have some goblins. In the advanced game, if you find a sleeping giant, he's too heavy. You can't flip the card. We're not playing with that rule, so that's not a problem. And now we have a monster who's coming up, and these are these little yellow starbursts. If they are on the starburst side, they are awake. If you find them and play them upside down with just the bone side, they are called asleep. And that has a little bit of difference. A monster that's live goes to your longest tunnel. A monster that's asleep goes to your shortest. Remember, we're still within that 10-turn window, so we're not gonna have to worry about this just yet. We are on turn 1, 2, 3, we're on turn 4. So, okay, so we know that this is a good block, but right now we have a bunch of shorts. So let's go ahead and 1, 2, 3. I guess we'll stick him here for now. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, that was turn 4, so we're on turn 5. We have a monster card. We're not going to play it. He goes to the bottom. Turn 6, we have a monster card. We're not going to play it. He goes to the bottom. Wow, turn 7, we have a monster card. We're not going to play it. He goes to the bottom. Turn 8, we have so many monsters. Oh my goodness. It goes to the bottom. Turn 9, okay, we have a ton of monsters waiting for us down there. We are in trouble. Turn 9 is just another long pathway with nothing doing. So let's stick him over here because we want to make sure this remains our longest pathway. This is turn 10, so we have no more safeties. If a monster appears, he will get placed, okay? We did finally get a gem. Finally, we got a gem. And our next one's a live monster. So we know he's going on our longest, which is here, and he will be stopped by the door, so we're okay. So what we have to work on is our shortest, okay? Here's the problem. If I place this here, I'm gonna block this, which means a monster cannot spawn because there's nowhere here for him to go. Fabulous. But our shortest tile will now be here, right? If I put a monster here, a sleeping monster, he'll be 1, 2 from my doors, and there'll be nothing stopping him. So we could be in trouble. Is there anything I can flip? I have a gem I could flip. What happens if we flip? It's not bad, but I don't have any doors or traps or anything to trigger right now. So I think this is turn 10, right? I think we have to place this guy, but don't worry, he's live. So he's gonna go all the way on the bottom here. Let's look at the back just for giggles. And the only bad news is he is a continuation, right? So although I'm gonna play him live, I'm gonna have to build off it, which is not good. All right, let's see what we can do here. All right, so he's gonna go down live, boom, and he's going to activate. So he's gonna go down the tunnel, he's gonna hit the door, okay? The door doesn't hurt him, it doesn't harm him, he's still awake, he just can't get out. He's standing right there at the gate, waiting for open, open, open. So we have to make sure this door never ever opens, and we have to make sure that this monster doesn't somehow connect back into the dungeon where he can get around our door, okay? If you're playing advanced rules, you can tell by the type of rubble created what sort of door break ability or tunneling ability a monster has. We're gonna ignore that for now because that's, like I said, it's too much for my sad little brain to figure out. Okay, next card is, he's a little chillax goblin. If we flip it, nothing happens. All right, so we're not playing with goblin abilities, so that doesn't matter. The question becomes, where do we put this? So I can't, I guess I could fit him here, but then my tunnel ends onto a wall. Well, that's not bad. I won't be able to complete my tunnel, but at least a monster won't get out that way. Yeah, so if I put it here, I can't close off my tunnel, so that would lose me the game. Shoot. So I guess I can put him over here and maybe hope to connect up over here somewhere, or I could build him like way off on the edge, which isn't a bad idea. Yeah, let's not risk it. Let's go ahead and just stick him down here for now. Building off of our monster tunnel, that's fine. We get another card, that's a blank. Okay. So if I stick it here, this becomes my shortest route. So I really need to get some defenses here. Next turn we have an awake monster. That's fine. We know where he's going. Let's look at the back. Oh, it's another double gate. Okay, so he's gonna go to our longest tunnel, which is way the heck down here, and we can actually hook it up. That's wonderful. So we now have two monsters trying to get out through this door. We are never going to open. Oh wait, hold on. I stand corrected. This is not a monster, right? This is actually another dungeon gate that is going to come down broken. Oh, so this is going to be another escape route that our monsters can now get out. So if I put it down here, this little monster is going to run right out it, right? Because he's going to be like, oh, an open gate, I'm out of here. And that's a terrible, terrible idea. So we're not going to put it there. We need to put it, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I guess we'll put it way down here. Okay, I checked the rules. Whew, I was thinking this is a terrible idea. If you draw a dungeon gate, just like a monster card, you can't switch it with your vault, okay? So you can't get rid of it that way. But if you draw it open, you build it, but you get to build it closed. So that's gonna save our bacon here because, oh my gosh, otherwise I had no idea how we were gonna do this. So I still don't wanna put it down here because if I put it here, the monster's just gonna run to it and flip it to open. That's a terrible idea. So instead, I guess we're going to put it, now we have to deal with two gates. So now we're gonna put it closed and we'll put it down here, which is our only option. Oh my gosh. All right, so, but at least it's closed, which is kind of good, I guess. Okay, the problem now is our shortest route is like right there, and we have a monster incoming. So we have a gem we could spend to flip, but I don't have anything to flip that's gonna help us. This is crazy. Okay, so we have a sleeping monster. He's going to attach to the shortest route, which I'll just say is what the heck. Right here looks pretty good to me. Way down here, boom. And he wakes up, runs to our gate, and immediately flips it open so that all monsters can now escape. Well, that's not good. Luckily, he doesn't get out this round. He just breaks the door open. So we have a chance to somehow fix, repair, or stop him. I'm not sure how we're going to do that because we finally got a door, but it is too late. So we have a door. On the flip side, it's open. So we could play it closed. The problem is, that's great for blocking like here, but how do I stop this monster? I think we're gonna have to spend our one little gem here. Is that the play? I can't believe we've only pulled one gem this whole game. We've been so unlucky. Actually, before I do that, I'm a little bit out of order. So before I draw and play my card, I'm allowed to go through my flip phase. So it's after the monsters activate. So you draw, you build, you activate your monsters, then you're allowed to flip. So before we go, we are going to spend our one and only gem. Oh, we're in so much trouble. It opens a portal right to our gate, which is terrible. But we have to do it. And because we spent a gem, we flipped the gem, we're allowed to flip any card we want. So as much as I would love to close that gate, I'm going to put this monster back to sleep. Our gate is still open, which is terrifying, but that's the nature of this game, terrifying. All right, so let's now build our door. So, okay, nothing on the back. So let's close this here. Boom. We have another door coming. Ooh, with a gem on the back, but it would open the door. How will I flip that? Man, we need a gem so bad I can taste it. If I build it here, I lose the game because I have an incomplete tunnel. But if a monster goes here, I lose the game because he will destroy everything. Oh, and if I put it here, I lose the game. I think we've just lost. Gosh darn it, we did. Oh, I guess we can loop it this way. Okay, wait. If I build it like this, we've completed our tunnel. We have a little circle of doors going on here. But we have no gems to flip, and we have a monster incoming. So I don't... We got unlucky with the gems. Okay. We have a monster incoming. He's going to attach to our shortest possible opening, which is going to be right here. And he's going to wake up. Yeah, we have a giant scorpion coming in. And it's placed in such a way that there's no way for me to complete the dungeon. So the scorpion wakes up. He runs to our front door and breaks it open. Boom. And we have nothing to flip to put him back to sleep. We have... Our next card is a door, which is great, but it's not enough. And we don't have anything in our vault to stop him. Wow, we got really unlucky with gems. Normally you get a lot more gems. I guess we can discard a vault card to flip him. That would work. But it doesn't really matter since I can't build off of this little place. I've dead-ended myself. And so I will lose the game, which is too bad. So we could, for example, discard a vault card and put him back to sleep. Okay, we could do that. No problems. But there is no way to build and connect this tunnel. So already you can tell I've worked my way into a terrible, horrible little hole here, and I have lost the game. Like I said, it is very luck dependent, this one. Like we just had a ton of monsters and not a single gem. Wow, that was unlucky. So I don't know if maybe you're supposed to make sure you have a good mix of monsters, gems, doors. You know, right now the way the rules say is just pick some cards randomly and play with them, which, you know, sometimes it works in your favor and you have a ton of gems and not a lot of monsters. In our case, we ended up with a ton of monsters. Remember all those we sat at the bottom waiting to come out, and we just didn't have any gems. And the main mechanism of this game is this idea. We didn't even get any traps either, which is one way to stop monsters, is this flipping of cards, right? That's how you activate and set your traps. That's how we would close our doors. We just got unlucky and didn't pull any. So I don't know, maybe another thing the designer could add is that if you're not playing with all the cards, make sure you do have some sort of a ratio so that you aren't totally blown out. It is definitely a hard game because of the addition of you must close your dungeon. In fact, I think you could even play it where if you manage to line it up in such a way that your opening hits like a wall, that would be considered closed and you wouldn't lose the game, as opposed to having to complete it. That might be another way to make it a little bit easier, because as it is, man, is this game hard. It's quick and easy and fun, so, you know, it's kind of fun to play a game that's just win or lose. But I've never won it, which, you know, could just be a sign that, you know, I'm just not good at it, or it could be a sign that maybe there needs to be like a little bit easier way to play it, because I haven't brought in any of the advanced rules, which makes the game brutally hard. So I think if you're looking for a good challenge, if you're looking for a game that you can just kind of flip cards and play and go, this one is definitely it. It is such a cute one to look at. I love the way your little map draws out on the end. But the random factor on this one is crazy high. You just don't know if you're going to pull doors and gems, or if you're just going to pull a bunch of monsters in terrible four-way intersections that you can never close off. So I think this is one I would watch for sure. The designer has been saying he's, you know, in the process of taking in feedback and updating it a little bit. So I think it could become maybe a little easier, but challenging games are good too. So I'm not completely like you must make it simpler. I think having a good, hard, fun game is totally acceptable, especially in this contest where I think a lot of games are pretty simple. Having a more complicated, thinky, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose. That's kind of what a tower defense game is, right? This feeling that in the beginning you're in control, and then as the game goes on, it gets crazier and crazier and faster, and you die and you think to yourself, next time I play, I'm gonna make sure. And this game does that, right? This is one of those games where after you die, you think, next game, I'm not making that mistake again. But maybe balancing the cards you play with, if you don't play with all 50 of them, that might be a nice way to go. And maybe adjusting the whole you must complete everything in order to win, because you can die really early if you just get some bad card draws. But like I said, it's a very different game from the others that I've played, and I really enjoy it. This is one I think is a beautiful example of a print and play game. This one is so much fun to print, and it is so easy and quick and charming to play. I think you might want to give it a check out yourself. That's my entry this week for the print and play contest. Check out all my friends below to see what they are up to. And until next week, have a good time.